Hello, beautiful souls. It's a beautiful day in the natural world. My name is Farah, and I like to make videos about how nature shows us who we truly are through the lens of my own human experience. So, today we're talking about the feeling or the experience of thoughts or sensations in the body of absolute sort of self-disgust or just feeling gross generally. I wonder if you've ever had that experience where you're going through something that is really painful or really difficult, either mentally, like in your thoughts, or in your heart and your feelings, or in the body. Some processes are sort of evoking a heaviness of some sort. And our minds can go to all sorts of places, the stories, the conditionings of, years and years of human experiences that we may have adopted. And, some people would call it shame or feeling bad, self-disgust. You just kind of feel gross, like, oh, ugh, like, oh, I can't be around people. I don't want to be seen. What would people think if they knew that I was feeling this way or thinking this way? Or that I was struggling so much with sensations in my body. And all of these processes so often, in my own experience, have unintentionally blocked me from showing up in the very exact spaces that were just so ready to hold and receive the wholeness of my humanity, which is really what all of these feelings and thoughts and sensations in our bodies are. They are our humanity. If they were not happening within our bodies, or rather the fact that they are happening within our bodies, means that they are part of our human experience. So the very first thing to acknowledge or to note or to see, sort of, it would make sense that the very first thing would be to almost say, oh, I am a human person. This is something that is happening in the mind or the heart or the body that I am in this human experience. And so this is a human experience. And it sounds kind of simple, right? That, oh, well, if it's happening, it must be a human experience. The mind has this way of separating what it is that is happening from the, I'm going to say, the naturalness of what it means to be a person, the complexity of what it means to be a person. Even a person in a, I'm going to say, disconnected, dysfunctional, grief-stricken, overwhelmed state. I really don't see that as, any one of us being any less of a human being if we find ourselves in these whole human moments. And in my own experience, I have found myself in these experiences and experienced the block to receiving support and nourishment and connection. And I'm going to say really feeling or experiencing being held in that humanity, being witnessed in it, being fully perceived in it, because of all the conditioning that I had sort of taken on to survive, right? Which so many of us have. And when I come out here into the natural world and I look around, There is no being out here that is saying, oh, I can't be here because today, my leaves are a little bit like this, or my bark is a little bit like that, or I'm just not standing as tall, or I'm working through this, fungus in my ecosystem or something, right? Everything is just allowed to be as it is. Full permission, full natural experience. And the fascinating thing about being out here in the natural world with all of its beautiful complexity and all of its, what should we call it? I was going to call it a messiness, but really it's beautiful geometry, it's like every moment where things seem to be working or not working is all just part of it, is all just part of the natural experience, and so too our human experience. Something is always in flux, something is always on the way, something is always in a process of evolving or expanding. And I get to come out here and experience this truth of how everything that we might think or feel or experience in our bodies is an integral part of our human experience. And actually, when we show up, if we have the capacity, right? Like sometimes we really need very resonant rest where we just need to stay inside and take good care of the bodies that we're in. But if we're noticing something in the mind, right? And we can meet that and we can see it for what it is, which is this survival process of separation from the naturalness, the truth of the wholeness of our human experience. And when I find myself actually tuned into that wisdom, I can see that and I can go, oh yeah, that separateness is not who I truly am. That separateness is not who any of us really are. The wholeness of what we might be experiencing in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts, is just all part of the beautiful complexity of being a person. Even when it can show up in overwhelm, in some dysfunction, in, whatever it might be, profound grief, it's still a part of being a person. And I'm so grateful to the beautiful complexity of the natural world and seeing all of these beings out here showing up exactly as they are, with whatever processes they're moving through at any time. And, however they look moving through it, some things are like oozing stuff, right? And some things are like smelling funny. And some things really actually don't look very pretty, right? Or they're really not standing very tall. All of the things that our minds say, I can't go outside because of all of these processes of conditioning that have come to be connected to a sense of fear or shame, a separation, some sort of, disgust or, a grossness that's just not true. It's just not true. The feeling of that grossness is actually a very natural part of the human experience. Disgust or self-disgust, right? I don't think I've ever met a human being who has not had some sort of taste of that reality in difficult moments. And so I'm so grateful to the natural world to be reminded of the wholeness of my humanity, of our humanity, of who we truly are. Because when I'm out here, I feel held. I feel held in that wholeness, no matter what the thoughts are thinking, no matter what the mind is thinking, the heart is feeling, or the body is moving through. And I get to bring this wisdom. I get to bring this truth, this love, this naturalness of being whole and held back into my day-to-day life, the modern human experience, and to actually allow myself to be held in the wholeness of my humanity among all the other beautiful beings. And something actually very powerful happens when we step into that. You know, I've noticed that when I allow myself to be held in that way, it sort of gives every being around me permission to also receive that love and to receive that care for the wholeness of their humanity. And so I wish this for you. I wish this truth, this knowing of this truth, that just everything that you are, in every state of your being, whatever your mind might be thinking, whatever your heart might be feeling, whatever sensations might be showing up in your body, on the inside or, you know, on the outside, I wish this knowing of this truth, that all of this is just part of being a person. And you are so beautifully held by the complexity of the natural world here and the naturalness, the sacred naturalness that we all are, all human beings, when we're all together. And I wish you more and more of this truth that is already here and is already known, in receiving that sense of permission to feel held in the wholeness, in the complexity of your unique human experience in every moment in your day-to-day life.